going on, everyone? Welcome to my Avengers Infinity War spoiler review. I am joined by my buddy, Mark DiGiovanni, for the first time. Mark, how does it feel to be on Sven Silly's channel for
this is
first
great.
time ever?
Thanks for having me on, man.
Yeah, it's great to finally have somebody else come on here. And
it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a great video.
Ready to get this started. Let's dig right deep into this bad boy because I know yourself, I, and our two other roommates here saw Avengers Infinity War a couple nights ago. I had my review come out on Saturday, and there was a lot to talk about. But I had to mention again, guys, this is a spoiler review. If you have not seen the movie yet, please do not watch this. Go ahead and watch my first video. Go see the movie, and then after that, check this spoiler review out because we're going to be talking about everything spoiler with Avengers Infinity War. Now that that's out of the way, let's get right into this, Mark. Alright, so the first thing that we must talk about with Avengers Infinity War were a couple of early deaths. The movie takes place right after Thor Ragnarok, and we see right at the gate Thanos and his children are murdering everyone on the ship. Two major deaths include Idris Elba, who played Heimdall in the Thor series, as well as Loki dies in this movie. Mark, what were your thoughts on Loki's death?
I mean, I didn't see Ragnarok, but seeing how they recapped it early on, I thought that was good because obviously I didn't have that knowledge of what happened, but sort of doing the recap of it in the beginning kind of caught me back up to speed, and seeing Loki die right away, that was crazy. I was not expecting that.
Yeah.
Just because, we knew Loki was joining Thanos, and we saw Loki feel sympathy for his brother Thor right at the beginning.
Yeah, I kind of like that.
Yeah, and that's that brotherly connection. And that was kind of cool to see what Thor and Loki right out of the gate, which ultimately led to Loki's death and the first stone for Thanos to get, which kicked off the movie.
The thing about Loki dying here is I hope that's not one of those things again where, he's not actually dead.
Yeah.
And we can discuss this too with a bunch of other characters at the end of this spoiler review, but it's one of those things, as much as I love Tom Hiddleston and the character Loki, I think he's one of the best villains in the MCU. It is.
Oh, definitely.
It's disappointing. I do think this is the end for the Thor movies already, and there's probably not going to be another movie after this for them, so it makes sense to kill him, but at the same time, he's going to be missed. I just hope they don't bring him back, and it's one of those deaths that are teased. Now let's dig into Thanos and his character. He is this film's main villain. I did not really talk about what his motivation was in my original review, but now I want to get into it. Really what Thanos' big idea and his big plan with this whole film is to eliminate half of the people living on Earth. He wants to take out...
He wants to take out everybody.
Yeah. He wants to take out everyone in the galaxy, pretty much, at least half of the people. So it makes sense because the way he grew up, he lived in a place where everyone was starving. There was not enough food for all the people on this planet, so he felt the best way to make this place grow was to have everyone die, at least half of the people. So that's what we see where his main motivation comes from. And what was your opinion on Josh Brolin as Thanos? Because I thought he was great. This is actually one of my favorite villains in the MCU. I will be having one of my next videos, should be my rankings for the best villains in the MCU. But Mark, what did you think of Josh Brolin?
I thought he did a fantastic job. Obviously, he's also Cable in Deadpool 2, so he's actually he must have played a good Thanos if they thought he could play another villain. And I thought he did a fantastic job. He really played the character well. I thought he was very well developed in this movie because in Guardians 1, where we first really see him in the MCU, he wasn't really developed. We didn't really know who he was, but we see his character development in this movie, and I thought he did a fantastic job. I really did.
I did too. I think he was really strong, he had a little bit of depth to him because you just thought originally he would be one of these characters that doesn't really care about anyone else, just has that one motivation to kill everyone. He's all evil, but he does have
feelings.
Because you see his feelings come out when he kills Gamora, which we'll get into later as well. But I think this was a good character. It's a little bit different from what the comics did, but it's fine. I don't really...
I mean, it made it more entertaining for us as fans watching the movie. It made it more entertaining because, usually every movie you see, it's just, the maniacal villain. Like in Spider-Man, the Green Goblin, he has just no motivation but just kill everyone.
Exactly.
We don't really see his feelings, but I really liked how they did it with Thanos, where they actually like you got to see the character and what he felt.
No, he was a good character.
They make you felt a little bit. You felt for him.
Yeah, you did. I understood his motivation. But right away, Mark, this movie picks up and never drags. From the very beginning, we are right into the action, and it's really good. It's on the edge of your seat stuff. I was never bored with this movie. I was always entertained. But I want to mention real quick the Stan Lee cameo.
Oh, that was awesome.
That was hilarious about the spaceship.
Wait, kids never saw a spaceship before? That was great.
There was a lot of funny moments in this movie, and that was one of the greatest parts about Avengers Infinity War, was how there were constant laughs. I found myself laughing so many times in this movie. I love the screenplay.
Well, yeah, the Russo brothers, they also did Arrested Development, so they come from that comedy background, so they had like, little subtle jokes in there like that. That was great. Like, because when you see a movie like that, you're like, oh, it's bang bang, shoot 'em up, this guy's dead, that guy's dead. To have like a little comedy, have a little bit of comic relief is good, and then it made the movie more entertaining.
Right. In my first review, I said how the tones didn't always feel mixed up.
Yeah.
They did a good job in separating the tones, and when it needed to be serious, it was serious. But
when
the comedy was in there, it was good relief.
It was great, yeah.
One of the things I noticed, actually, Mark, was that Scarlet Witch, played by Elizabeth Olsen, did not have her accent in this film as she had in both Civil War and the second Avengers movie.
Well, yeah.
Which is weird.
When we first see her in Vision, we see them in Glasgow, so you're like, okay, they're going to bring out her accent, and then you hear her talk, you're like, hold up.
that was really weird.
I mean, it didn't really bother me that much, like that she didn't have the accent, but it was something in the back of your head, like, wait.
I didn't really quite understand why she no longer had an accent, but maybe they missed that, or they just wanted to get rid of that overall. But easily one of the coolest parts of this movie is when her and Vision are being attacked by Thanos' children in that country, and then you see Captain America come out to save the day. That was one of my favorite scenes in the whole movie. The music picks up again. That's when
and
stuff
you see the beard, you're like, let's go.
Yeah. That was one of my favorite moments in the entire movie. Whenever Captain America is on the screen fighting in general, I'm just all over that stuff. It's great moments that make these movies so fun to watch. I was so happy to see Captain America again in this movie, being one of my favorite characters. And now he's definitely one of yours, too.
Oh, yeah, he's so cool, man. He fought Red Skull, now he's fighting Thanos. What's not to love, man? He's got the beard. he's got the playoff beard, man.
He really is. He does. Another noticeable thing was how there were some characters missing in this movie.
Yes.
No Ant-Man, no Hawkeye, and I know you didn't see Thor Ragnarok, but one of the characters, Valkyrie, was also not in this movie. She played a really big role in Ragnarok. I thought that was kind of weird how they weren't in this movie.
Well, it's weird because in the new Avengers movie in 2019, Ant-Man, Paul Rudd, and Jeremy Renner, Hawkeye, are signed in the next movie. So maybe the Russo brothers are planning to bring them in, obviously, in the second movie.
That's what I would think.
I think they're trying to do a surprise thing, because they said in an interview, I was watching another video, and they said in an interview that Hawkeye, he's stepped away for a little bit, and now he's going to come back in the new Avengers movie. And we don't know where Ant-Man is. He's probably being an ant somewhere.
Right. This summer, we will be having Ant-Man and the Wasp, which is the sequel to the last Ant-Man movie, and this takes place right in between Civil War and this Avengers movie. Yeah. So we're going to see...
It's a little bit of a flashback.
Right. We're going to be able to see if
where he was.
Yeah. Right. And maybe it'll give us some ideas as to whether or not Ant-Man does have a significant role in Avengers 4. But I really missed Paul Rudd in this movie.
Yeah.
But maybe he'll come back after Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Well, it's funny because the Russo brothers, like we were just saying, they did comedy with the rest of the development. You think they would have a funny guy like Paul Rudd?
I know. It's somebody you want to have in there. It was another really interesting part about this movie and made it so much more fun and funny at the same time, was how there was separate groups scattered throughout this movie. We had the Guardians with Thor at first, but then Thor joins Rocket, and then we also have Tony Stark
and
along with Spider-Man, and we have the other
Doctor
Guardians.
Strange. Yeah,
Doctor Strange is out there, and a couple of the other Guardians are there as well, including Star-Lord. And then we finally have Captain America's group on Wakanda with Black Panther, Falcon, Hulk, all those people. So we have a lot of different groups, and I feel like with the group on Wakanda, it was more serious, but when we saw the Guardians, and especially the Thor Rocket, when we had that combination there, I felt the movie was a lot funnier.
Yeah, I love when Rocky would yell at Groot, be like, "Groot, get off that Game Boy, man! I'm gonna break
That was
it."
hilarious, yeah. And the whole rabbit. Yeah, no, that was some really funny moments, but I absolutely loved how they had all these different groups. I feel like the biggest problem I had with that, it was a little bit unfocused, but at the same time, it was entertaining, and it really did make the movie feel different at times, which I liked.
Yeah, I didn't think that. I thought when I went to go see it that they'd all meet up together, but they're all separated. Like you said, Thor and Rocket and Groot, while you had the other Avengers with Iron Man, Doctor Strange, and Spider-Man. Then you had Captain America, Hulk, Black Widow, all with Black Panther on Wakanda. I thought they were all going to be together fighting.
Yeah, it was a little weird how they did that, but...
And then when they were separated, I was like, wait, hold on. How can they fight Thanos, when they're not together? Because in Civil War, you think, oh, since they got drawn apart, they'd come back together. And it was just weird how they were just still separated.
Yeah, it was a little strange, but as Brett Brown would say, we gotta play together. And that's how they're gonna defeat Thanos, hopefully, in Avengers 4. Now, going back to Gamora, there was something I have not talked about yet, and that is how Gamora actually dies in this movie. And in the same exact scene, we have the appearance, once again, of the Red Skull, which was a very cool cameo in this film. I know you like the Red Skull a lot, Mark.
That was a shock to me, because I love that Captain America movie.
It's your favorite movie.
Yeah, that was my favorite. Yeah, that was my favorite one.
Is it because of World War II?
Yeah, I think the whole World War II persona, the storyline of Steve Rogers, I just love that whole build up to it. And then just see Red Skull again, I was just like, oh my God, he's back!
I know, and as we talked about how Thanos, he does have feelings in this movie. We get to see Thanos and his deeper side.
Yes.
He truly does love Gamora, but he has to sacrifice her in order to, in his opinion, save the world from starvation and people continuing to die day after day. And this is the only way he can do that, and unfortunately he has to kill Gamora in order to get this Infinity Stone,
that was
Soul Stone.
Yes, and you hear Red Skull say, hey, if you want to get the Soul Stone, you have to give up a soul for a soul.
So when we finally get to the planet Titan, where we see all of the Guardians except for Rocket and Groot, we have that group fighting alongside Tony Stark and Spider-Man against Thanos, and Doctor Strange was there too.
Yes,
a lot of people will keep track of in this film.
Yeah.
But that was one of the best scenes in the entire movie, where we had all those characters fighting Thanos, but of course Peter Quill has to mess the entire thing up.
Yes.
Did you think that was the wrong decision for the filmmakers to ultimately decide doing with this film, Mark, or do you think they could have done something better? Because I didn't really think that was a necessary addition to this film, having Peter Quill mess the whole thing up. That was lazy screenwriting.
It made sense because he had, obviously we see him and Gamora have more feelings for each other. You could see, remember when he said in Guardians 2, hey, there's an unspoken boundary, and we can start to see like she's actually coming around to him, and they start to feel that, and there's a connection there. And for them to do that, it made sense because, they love each other. He obviously had bad feelings, and he wanted to go after Thanos, and, obviously messed the whole thing up. But I think, yes, it might have been poor screenwriting from your perspective, but I just think it was an easy way to do it. You know? And it was an easy way to transition into another movie.
It was an intense scene. The thing is, I feel like they didn't necessarily have to have the Guardians and Tony Stark, Doctor Strange, and Spider-Man almost get the gauntlet off of his hand.
Yeah.
Instead, they could have just gotten absolutely annihilated, and that would have basically saved that from happening.
Okay, I understand that. Like, they could have been, like, down and out, like, barely breathing.
Exactly, yeah, because Thanos is so strong, and it's... I guess it makes sense to have that in there, but at the same time, do you really need to? The reason I think it was put in there just so Peter Quill could know that Gamora is dead, and Nebula finds out too, and she seems pretty upset. So.
Yeah, because like we said, like in Guardians 2, we have that sisterly connection. Right. She still had that.
But now I'm interested to see what they do with Guardians 3, and if Gamora will somehow come back, which I hope they don't do that. That's stupid, as I said, with Loki. At the end of this film, Thanos does succeed. He rips that Infinity Stone off of Vision's head after Scarlet Witch does it herself, and then he uses the Time Stone to go back in time, reverse it, and just rip it off his head.
Yeah.
So now we have half of the Avengers blown into dust, and we're left with just the original crew plus a couple other.
And you have Rocket still alive. I was shocked to see it happen. Like, I mean, obviously, I knew that they're going to keep, the main guys like Captain America, Iron Man, Hulk. Obviously, they're going to keep that core group together.
Yeah.
But seeing...
I like that.
But the one that shocked me was Spider-Man. I didn't think they were going to take Spider-Man away.
It was a very emotional scene. But the thing, I said in my first review for this film, the biggest problem I had, they decided to already announce that there was going to be a Spider-Man Homecoming 2 as well as a Guardians 3.
Yeah.
So you pretty much know all those characters
are going to come back.
Yeah. So what was the point of that? Also, Black Panther is one of the characters that dissolves at the end of this film, and I know that was a very successful film, so you pretty much know there's going to be a sequel to that. They're not just going to take him out of the universe already.
Exactly.
So
unless they're going to go back in time somehow and be like, well, this happened before.
Yeah, it could happen. But
you know what I mean? Like,
I hope that's not the case.
Yeah. Spider-Man Homecoming 2? Yeah, that was before Infinity War. Then why'd you make Infinity War first?
It doesn't make any sense. That was one of my biggest flaws as I had with the movie in general. I felt that they should have waited to make this movie last. Instead, give all the characters who were originally going to make a trilogy for them have their trilogies already completed and then make this film along with Avengers 4. I feel like that would have been much smarter because you would have gotten more character depth for characters like Peter Parker and like T'Challa. And now with them all in this film, before even getting their second or third films, I don't think they have the proper development yet. You don't care about them as much, and you already know they are getting sequels. So what's the point of killing them off this early when you know they're coming back already? I felt that was just kind of stupid.
I don't know what's going to happen,
I don't know either.
There's always something leading up to a stone in these MCU movies. Like Captain America, Red Skull's going after the stone, and...
it was the Tesseract. I thought the ending was very cool while also having my mouth drop, which was crazy.
Yeah.
I did not expect that to happen at the end of the movie, but I thought it was really well done. I liked the ending a lot. And the after credits scene was really funny too. I loved how Samuel L. Jackson dissolves and we see the Captain Marvel symbol pop up at the end. I know a lot of people probably didn't know that was her symbol, but yeah, it's going to be cool seeing what she has to provide in Avengers 4. I'm sure she'll probably come in, save the day with Tony Stark, and that also makes me think that they'll probably kill off at least one of the big original Avengers, such as Tony Stark, Steve Rogers, or Thor.
I just want to see how these other movies build up. Like, what's going to happen at the end? What is the villain going to want? Because it seems like in every MCU movie they want a stone. So, I
know.
So if all the stones are captured by Thanos, what are they going to go after?
I guess I'm taking over the world or something like
that. But Thanos has the gauntlet.
I don't know. So overall, we pretty much went into depth with this whole film, talked about the things we liked, disliked, and all the characters that died. Mark, I gave my opinion on the film already. I gave it 90% in my review. What were your original thoughts of this film? Did you really enjoy it, or do you think they could have done a better job?
Yeah, obviously from start to finish, you were right into it. There was that 10 minutes where you see Thanos and Loki. It was kind of slow, but right after that, battle scene. It was awesome to see. I would say I'd give this movie about, like an 88. I think it'd have been a little better. There's couple questions unanswered, if that's okay, because obviously there's an Avengers 4.
Yeah, there's another one after this.
But I'm just kind of curious on what's going to happen in these other movies. Like you were saying, like, why wasn't this pushed back a little bit further?
I think they should have done that. But
why was this released now? What's going to happen in the other movies? What characters are going to develop?
I'm sure if you guys are watching this, you already saw Avengers Infinity War, so be sure to let me know down below in the comment section what your thoughts are of it. Finally, two more things. So one of my other biggest negatives with the film, because I will be going into my rankings now, I'll show you guys what my rankings are now after watching this film. But one of the other biggest problems I had with this film was the fact that they decided to brush away some of the problems built on from the previous big installments from the MCU, such as Civil War, The Winter Soldier, Ragnarok. There was a lot of times in this film where they could have done something with certain characters like Bucky, Thor, Loki, but decided not to and instead focus on Thanos. And in this movie, we see them just decide to, okay, we're not going to discuss what happened in these other films. Thanos is our main villain now, and we don't care what happened in Civil War. We know that there are some problems happening between Steve Rogers and Tony Stark, but we'll focus on that later or barely even bringing it up. I still feel like there were some big things they decided to just brush and skim the surface with, when in reality, in my opinion, they should have gone more into depth and explored those struggles that some characters had in the other films. So here are my official rankings of all 19 MCU films. This does fall down to number 4 overall, which is still really good. There are 3 very strong movies ahead of that, and maybe in a year or two, this movie will be my number 1 favorite MCU film. But Mark, where would you say this is in your rankings?
In my rankings, it's got to be top 5. It was a great movie, but like I said, there's just too many things unanswered. And with this movie coming out right now, and there's still movies yet to come, it's still a little confusing on what's going to happen in the MCU. Because obviously, this is way different from the comics. Like,
it is, yeah.
You know, that's one thing I noticed. There's just too many questions unanswered. We'll have to see what happens in 2019.
I cannot wait.
I think that movie might be the best one.
I think it could be.
Everyone was saying they're anticipating for this movie, but I think Avengers 4, I think that one's going to be just better because we'll see all the questions that we have, you know, that are unanswered, like what happened to everyone else.
So there could be a lot of different things they decide to go with, plenty of different directions, but I am very interested to see what they decide to do. So thank you all for watching this Avengers Infinity War spoiler review. Mark, it's been a pleasure.
Thanks for having me on, man. It was fun.
We will do this again this summer. I will be sure to have more friends and be collaborating with hopefully other YouTubers this summer as big movies come out. So it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, this was fun.
So next up, guys, I will have a few more videos coming out, such as my rankings for both the MCU villains and the MCU main heroes, so get ready for those rankings videos, guys. If you're new to my channel, click that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and I hope you all have a fantastic day.